Okay, welcome everyone for the question and answer session. There are some written questions. I'll start with them. Meanwhile, if you have any, in my practice, I think I see what you mean by seeing the four elements in pain body and feelings. Example being detached, observing the vibrating, rising and passing away. Can you please explain a little bit about more thoughts, seeing each of the four elements in thoughts? How do the four elements manifest in thoughts? What are the elements on make elements in thoughts? So this the early part also has to be clarified. In my practice, I see what you mean the seeing the four elements in pain body, the feelings. There you have to understand the four elements are talking about the materiality, the pain, the feelings are talking about the mentality. So therefore, this presentation is little awkward. The four elements are the kind of means, kind of ways to understand the feelings, but in theory we asked to see the feelings separately and the materiality separately and the mentality separately. There is a kind of a connection, kind of a relationship. It's a heat and cold. In a way we feel, and hardness and softness we feel, but the feeling is different. The basic hardness or its natural characteristic, it's a nature, is a different thing. So therefore it is wrong to say in the analytical presentation that we can see the materiality in the feelings, because feeling is a kind of a mental aspect. So the four elements are the characteristics or basic elements of the materiality. Feeling is come under the mentality. So therefore, the rest of the question come with the same kind of thinking, line of thinking. Can you please explain a little bit more about thoughts and seeing each of the four elements in thoughts? How do the four elements manifest in thoughts? What is earth element or water element in thoughts? So I can imagine the way the question come. Accordingly, if I am to give an answer, when and where earth element manifest, either as hardness or softness, or smoothness or roughness, heavy or light. These are the 6 ways to manifest. Each one is never go without projection in terms of thoughts. Each and everything we engross with our likings and disliking in terms of thoughts. So therefore, earth element, the roughness of the earth element, is a causative factor, starter, igniting factor for the thoughts to arise. Without such ignition, without such starter, thought cannot come by itself. But this earth is not a thought. These things can be separated out. And the water element, the cohesive nature and the fluidity. When the fluidity happen, accordingly, we have likings or disliking. It is good thing to happen. It is bad thing to happen, like thoughts can arise. But for an arahant or one person who is mindful can see the fluidity and the cohesiveness appear, experience, and still keep the mind away from thinking. Keep the mind away from feeling of it, good or bad. That is the escape. That is the way we employ our mindfulness, we employ our wise attention. So, whenever there is no wise attention and the mindfulness, each and every element, whenever they manifest, thoughts are jumping and coloring it. It's good or bad, or nice, it's correct or wrong. So therefore, if one telling that elements are also always associated with thoughts, there is no combination, no possibility for Nibbana. The Buddha says, untrained mind, uninstructed mind are finding these two appear as together, as couples. But if you mindfully go, if you thin slice the phenomena, then you can say appearing of this element is one thing, and it's going with the thoughts accordingly is separating. And in the Chanki Sutta, Chakkuncha paticca rupecha uppajjati chakku viññāna tinna sangati passo passapacca vedana yang vedeti tang vitakketi yang vitakketi tam papancheti papancha sanya sanka samudacharanti. Likewise, when the eye contact with the visual object or with avenue to the visual object, if the consciousness also ready for that, contact happens. So at that level, no thoughts, just the contact of the materiality and the mentality happens. Mentality here, the consciousness, and then the feeling arises first and foremost. After the contact is the proximate factor for the feeling. That feeling, when and where feeling happen, the person, he who or she who is not mastering the painful feeling, pleasurable feeling and the neutral feeling, only see pain, no pleasure. Never manage to see the no pain, no pleasure. When and where the pleasure and the pain happens, accordingly, vitakka. Vitakka means that applying thoughts happen, and then tasting of it, or association it, and soon the association happens. Our past perceptions going to come and measure them. This is good, this is bad, this is to happen, this is not to happen, like, and then only thoughts start to come. When the thoughts start to happen, it will completely overwhelm you, engulf you, ultimately you will be taken for a ride. And you are no more a seer, you will be just a thinker, and you think your thinking is based upon something under the nose experience, but not. You are thinking upon what you projected. You have long since been not a seer, but a thinker, but you think you are still seeing. So that is how the thoughts are taking you for a ride, and therefore the feelings, thoughts are two kinds, and applying thoughts and association thoughts, vitakka vichara, all are based on these elements. Yes, but not always it must be. You can cut them off. You can see them in the episodes like in a drama. So that is where the mindfulness come and help you to see the gaps in between, and not necessarily they must be work as a chain. If it is working as a chain, that is due to your negligence. If you are vigilant, one day you can see in a piecemeal work, one by one. Can you please, if you have time, explain the Bhavatanha and Vibhavatanha a little bit in detail? And to come up to Bhavatanha and Vibhavatanha, we have to add the third part of this whole game, that is Kamatanha. I think Kamatanha, everyone knows, that is why not asking me to explain. And it is the way we are slaves. We are always giving 24 hours, and if possible more than 24 hours for the Kamatanha. But it is like trying to fill water into a cane basket. Never one can fill it. Whatever you are going to fill, it is losing. But even that is what our old ancestors, everyone was doing. We are the same. And then some people says, we are not behind this Kamatanha. Instead, we are accumulative merits, we are doing good things, and then one can ask, for what goodness, why? Because in the next life, we are going to get good things. Not this life. Not this life doing is we call karma tanha. So we know the disadvantage of it. Instead we are going to do meritorial things and the generosity and all the kind of thing. But the idea behind is investment for the future happiness, that is known as bhavatanha. And Ernest Hemingway, I think, who wrote the book The Old Man and the Sea, and he says each and every merit is nothing but an investment for the future life. You expect a huge interest over there. If you pay 1 rupee here, next life you have 7 rupees. That is the calculation. So it's a very easy way. But you don't know, you are just the imagining. So that is one way of escapism. But anyway, bhavatanha is something still better than kamatanha. Because kamatanha leading you to the transgressional kind of defilements. You may lead to killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, and all the verbal misdeeds, intoxications, wrong livelihood. Everything is due to the maximization of the kamatanha. But usually bhavatanha never associate with this kind of a transgressional kind, but obsessions can happen. You expect the next life also, but over there you expect a better life. But better in terms of what? Better in terms of kamatanha. Again, good sights, good sounds, good touch, good smell, all the kind of thing. But therefore, it is an investment for the future. But the Buddha, he takes the mean advantage of it. He says, doing merits is better. That means the bhavatanha is somewhat comparatively better than kamatanha. Kamatanha is just like a raw flesh coming from the barbaric people. But bhavatanha is kind of like a prepared meal served in the table. So you can go there and eat with the cutleries and all the kind of thing, and etiquettes and everything is there. But still the same, filling the gut. So there is a bhavatanha. Whenever you are trying to do this bhavatanha business or maximization of the pleasure for the future, not always you are confronted with the conducive factors. A lot of difficulties arises. I mean, whenever you are trying to maximize the kamatanha, difficulties arises, no problem. It is, you understand. Because you are, at the evolutionist says, survival of the fittest is the principle in the bhavatanha, kamatanha. Person who is ability is there, he grab the lion's share, don't care about the others. So there are no democracy, nothing. So therefore, whenever you are trying to maximize the bhavatanha, the rivalry arises. That is understood. But forgetting about the bhavatanha, kamatanha, if someone going to do bhavatanha, that means doing merits, there are also some kind of friction arises. So you have some antagonism to that kind of a friction. That is happening due to vibhavatanha. That is, you try to be and you try to have a nice life or next life and all the kind of thing, but that is also being blocked. And you can't understand how can one can come and disturb it, and therefore you develop kind of antagonism against this kamatanha, bhavatanha, and therefore it is bhavatanha always, though it is known as tanha, appear like a hate. It take a perverted form. So bhavatanha, if you are going to directly deal with it, you will get rid of kamatanha and you will try to think and get rid of this bhavatanha. That means you do good meritorial deeds, but you never expect anything in the next life. You do for the sake of doing. But still, while doing it, there's a kind of a resistance, kind of a irritability, kind of a anger arises. You justify it is telling that my anger is because I won't get a chance to do more merits. That is why I get angry. But still it is anger. That is how the Bhavatanha is working. So Bhavatanha is, in the Western psychology, they have not much explored into that. But even then, and the Sigmund Freud, he mentioned that everyone is having the death instinct. And that is why, that is the way they balance their individual psychology. The death instinct is, we can't say, it is only for the part and parcel of the population. Everyone is having. When all the others are in failure, death instinct is coming and telling you, if it is so, I will commit. And then no one can do it anything. So likewise the Bhavatanha is there. Dr. David Kalupahana, while he's writing this Buddhist philosophy, and it has been translated to Sinhala also, he has taken very little time to explain this Kamatanha, Bhavatanha, Vibhavatanha. He compares Bhavatanha and Vibhavatanha as when a thing available, some kind of a necessity. If you need more and more of the same thing, that is Kamatanha. If you need something else instead of this one, this is called Vibhavatanha. What is available, this is available. If you like this, you will ask another one. 2, 3 things. That means Bhavatanha. And if you need, I need not this one, I need the plastic one. I need the square one. Or something like whatever may be, rejecting this and asking for new one is a general hatred to this one. Natural hatred to this one. That is the what we call Vibhavatanha. This is also usable one. But you have a better idea in your mind. Instead of that idea, this is blocking you to get that the best. So therefore this appears like a block. So therefore you develop kind of a hatred to it. But you don't understand it because your mind is obsessed with the desire for the next one. But the hatred to this one, unavoidably there. To explain the whole picture, you have to take this. So this is called Bhavatanha, Vibhavatanha. So in this Vibhavatanha, it's become very prominent when you come to the Nibbidana. When the Nibbidana happens, or even in the Vipassana Jnana, I didn't touch in these talks. This is yet another way of expressing the Sattva Visuddhi, Sammasana Jnana, and the Nibbida Jnana, and the Vibhavatanha appears in an aggravated manner. And you develop kind of a hatred, kind of a dislike, irrespective of any person, anything. Everything appear like no taste. Everything appear like tasteless. So ultimately you personalize it. You find fault with your teacher. You find fault with the meditation center. You find fault with the meditation system and the sitting place. Everything appear like irritable. So very difficult to answer because teacher himself knows this particular person talk with the hate to me. He won't express it. He can't. But teacher knows. So in commentarial stories, it says the one elderly monk and the newly ordained young monk, they were living in the forest. And the elderly monk is a well-enlightened person. He has given a object of meditation for the younger one. And the younger one was practicing. And while practicing, this started to came. And ultimately, he brooding on the same idea. He can't talk with his teacher. Ultimately, it come up to a certain level. He says, I feel like disrobing. Then the elderly monk comes to know this is nothing wrong, but this is one of the outcome in this meditative progress. So it is that, you know, that when you go there, I am in trouble. So you are the only person who was attending me. Why don't you think about twice? And he just give a chance and again the same. After a while he comes and says same. Then the elderly monk comes to know, the confirm this is the Vata mental state. Then he says, now you see we are living in a mud hut and it is about to collapse. So therefore I'll teach you a method whereby you can excavate a kuti, that is means a cave out of rock. He says that I have never heard about excavating rocks. But I know only how to find a place which is suitable for the cave. That is what I will teach you. Collect some firewood. So he showed the place where in the rock, as a nice place. He asked me to put the firewood there and heat the rock as much as possible, and then when it's well heated, splash some water, and then rock crack, and then the one scale drops, and after a while again he has to collect firewood and burn the place up to the heating point, and then splash cold water, and another scale goes. Ultimately you can cut the rock as you like. So it took long time. Whatever may be, this youngster got little interest because he has never heard about that, and after that still that internally he feel that repulsion. Says, now is good, thank you, and now I will go. Then the elderly monk told, you see that as soon after cutting the rock, it is with the raw rock, and it is very bad for the bronchitis, because when the wetness happens, it never absorbs, so you have to plaster it. And without that, rock is not good for sitting, because it is too much of humidity. So what I have to do? You have to collect some lime and collect some fine mud and mix it 50-50 and apply nicely, and with smearing with the hand and all the kind of thing. I also will come and help you, but you know I am very old, so you have to do. So he engaged with that. And by the time the rainy retreat came, and then he told, now that is also finished, so finished, that I am going home. He says, no, that when such a thing happened, that has to be seasoned. One person live there and see what is the points to be touched and all the kind of thing, and I am too old to do that one. So therefore, final thing is, you have to season it. So therefore, we'll both enter into the rainy retreat. For 3 months, you just live there. And while living, I will give you the Samyutta Nikaya, and you just by heart it. That is only task you have to do. So while it is happening, the Vibhava Tanha, the hatred slowly disappeared, and he started to read the Samyutta Nikaya and got some instructions, and at the end of the rainy retreat, he has become Anagami, it seems, and he became the best preacher on the Samyutta Nikaya. So when such a thing happens, you can't directly tackle it. But to understand, there is an undermining hatred is there, but that particular person also don't express it, because it is happening in a perverted way. The other party has to understand it. Definitely hatred is coming against the other party. It is true, but you have to tackle it in such a way. And therefore, if you are to understand and tackle yourself, you have to be so advanced. That is why when we are in a group, such a revolution, such a repercussion, such a problem arises. Even among the meditators, even among the fully cultured people, this problem arises, antagonism arises, and rivalry arises. And laity, those who are not meditating, sarcastically looking at, say, why these meditation societies are fighting each other. Because by just taking the subject of meditation, you don't know how the Vibhava Tanha is working. When it is going to work, you are nothing. It is like a tsunami coming and washing you off. So best thing is be prepared. Up to the maximum level of meditation, these things can happen. Because it is instincts, they are inbuilt things just to keep the system balanced. So whenever such a repulsion happens, so we suppress it. That is the culture. Culture means just to suppress, not to express it. But the internal tension is ever developing. The moment it comes above the threshold value, burst. When it is bursting, so ugly, so filthy, so dirty. But meditators, best masters, they know. This is the way of, this is called in English, I don't know the proper term, catharsis. Catharsis? How can you explain? There are in more words. Putting out. When you have how to go bubbles and a bliss.
That's boil.
Right?
That's boil.
Boil. When the boil happens, the pus comes. It has to come out. Otherwise, boil will never cease. So when the coming out pus is a sign of recovery. So likewise, all the things which was boiling inside, they are not a good thing to keep it up there and worship in the casket. It's utter kilesas, utter dirty. But as far as you keep it there, you are the defiled person. Knowingly, if you put it out, with the help of he or she or whatever may be, that is what the maximum gain we get in this world. See the dirty thing under the light of sun. If you are brooding inside, it's ever growing. That's the maximum fertility inside. The hiding is the best fertilizer. Exposure, everyone can't tolerate it. Only the meditators has to tolerate other meditators. That is why the Buddha organized this Bhikkhu Sangha. They have to share each other, because if he's doing a mistake, it is definitely part and parcel of me. If anyone doing a mistake, any bhikkhu, I am answerable. That is why in Sri Lanka we had Jnanasi here, Panyasi here, very famous character. Panyasi here, Jnanasi here, writing lot of books in the prison, being in the prison, he says whenever one monk is doing a mistake, he used to say, he is in our company. So I have to take responsibility about what he is doing. So that is how the bhikkhu means, that you have to understand, everyone is suppressing its own defilements. As far as suppressing, it is brooding. But every time, everywhere we can't express also. So there should have a pressure releasing bag. So this Vibhavatanna is such a crooked thing, such a dirty thing, and a perverted thing. The moment you understand, simple expression is, our life become a teledrama. Whole day you can observe why people are behaving like this. Why I am behaving like in front of the people. Because always I am living up to their expectations. Not really myself. I never express myself as it is. If it is so, we are uncultured. We call barbaric. We call this is untamed. So therefore we always live up to the other size. So ultimately, who is the person going to get cheated? Lost. When you are learning it, well ahead, you are in the 70s and 80s, and it is too late. At the younger age, you give as much as possible chances for the youngsters to act as the society likes. So the drama, this is the teledrama. Earlier you understand to whom we are going to satisfy. Are we going to satisfy our parents? Or our teachers? Or the people setting the norms in our society? Do they have any idea about this Vibhavatanna? No, they don't even understand the Kamatanna. They are entrapping Kamatanna. So that is why this is to be a human, full-fledged understanding of the human brain, where we evolved, passing all the animal instincts, we have come up to the level, still you can subject to the Kamatanna, Bhavatanna, Vibhavatanna, but our prime important thing is we can see Kamatanna and Kamatanna, Bhavatanna and Bhavatanna, Vibhavatanna as Vibhavatanna. But don't, please, look into the others Kamatanna, others Bhavatanna, others Vibhavatanna. That is dirty. Your rights is to see your own. Others are just mirrors. If someone is asking, at least you have to share. But if it is someone is not asking, don't try to share, because this is high tension wire. Not to 230, it is 33,000, sometimes 66,000. Moment you touch, finished. That love and everything gone. Moment you touch, others liking and disliking. So when we are practicing, if you wish to advance, you have to offer the spiritual friend, please, if you find anything in mistake of me, if you have seen, if you have heard, if you are suspecting, please let me know. If I justify myself, I will correct myself. That is the best thing we get out of our humanity. We get out of the society. But instead what happens is, the culture and all the kind of thing, only highlighting the good part, never give any chance for the bad thing. So it is ever accumulating. Ultimately we go to the bed with all the bad things. And overnight, nightmares. And fighting. And tomorrow morning again get up and put the face uplift, makeup and go smiling and all the 8 hours and come back with so much of tension. And start taking that stress reduction medicine and all the kind of thing. And tomorrow morning also again put up the facelift and the beautification and go to the society smiling and all the kind of thing. And again come home back with the unsolved issues. When you are about to see that, I think that you need not look at the television for the teledrama. We are in a drama. The special thing is we are the actor, we are the producer, we are the spectator, and everything is within. And of course you can see the other person also, but not with the one-upmanship telling that he or she is lowly. But you can understand the tendencies. You can understand how it is being driven. When the puppet show is happening, the person is up there, is moving with the threads. We feel like puppet is talking and puppet is dancing. But the drama is not at the puppet level, it is in up there. So Buddha is the first and foremost person, see these three elements. Kama-tanha, bhava-tanha, vibhava-tanha. All economics is kama-tanha. All politics means kama-tanha. All sociology means kama-tanha. The whole worldly knowledge is simply you can categorize as kama-tanha. So more and more you get PhDs means, it says BS means bullshit. MS means more shit. PhD means pile deep and high. More you go there, you ruin yourself. I am sorry, I also went up to the postgraduate level. And there also only I learned this. Till that you feel that getting into the university is such a competitive thing. And you are qualifying yourself. And when you got to the MS, they have considered undergraduates. Universities are no more. When you go to the PhDs, all the others, MS and MPhils, nothing. But you know nothing about when you come out of the PhD level. So this is the way. This is the way we are driving our children. This is the way our countries are making the constitution. So if someone going to see the thing, we've been categorized as mad and put into the asylum. We are not supposed to think against the grain. But the Buddha is the first one. Came up to the world which is completely in this darkness and never accepted. He went up to the highest of the available knowledge and then he thought this is not the end. I have to go through. Then only he came to know this perverted thing. There are these etiquettes and the virtues. All the things become Montessori. I mean, they are necessary to start with. This is necessary to go up. This all the meritorial deeds and everything necessary. But you have to understand each and every one has its own disadvantage. It is not completely shining. There's a dark part. That means see things in this correct perspective, means see the advantages as advantages, but don't fail to see the disadvantages as disadvantages. Don't take by the face value. Then you will not caught up with the advertisement. Advertisement is only showing the better part, adverting the mind to that particular thing, because they are profit making. So whole life, you can find fault with the person who presents, but you have to understand the selective absorption, what is to take and what is not to take. You must have this understanding about this, the perversions, understanding about this defilements. So more and more you go there, you feel even without becoming enlightened, you feel like enlightened. You see the drama, you see what is happening, and therefore nothing, you will never fight to become enlightened. You will try to be here, you will try to be present. And then ever the enlightenment will be a natural outcome. Because you never get attached to this drama. It's so filthy, it is such a artificial thing, it is such a temporary fixed up thing, never lasting. And with this economic recession and all the kind of, you can understand how the such a brainy thing, even they do, and the economy is collapsing, finished. What to do? What are the required paramis to become an arahant in this very life? So we don't know the paramis is 10 in Theravada tradition and 6 in Mahayana tradition. And it says they should have the basic paramis and 3 hetuka patisandhi and all the kind of thing. So one way of presenting is relating to one of the event happened related to the Nissarana. When the Nissarana, that where I am residing, started in 1964, took for 3 years and started in 67. And at that time, there were no any talks or thoughts about meditation. Whole country was in a completely after the Buddha Jayanti, it's doing merit making, but the revival of the Buddhism happened, but no one thinking about the meditation. So one Mr. Asoka Veeratna, he being in the Berlin Vihara, he's a kind of a person, when he's turning on the news, he has heard that Yuri Gagarin has gone to the orbit and come back safely. Immediately he has thought, if I can straighten up these Noble Eightfold Paths, still the same thing I can do. And then he stopped the radio and he has mentioned, I will never use my hands in future for making money. Whatever the money I have, I will try to invest everything for straightening of this Noble Eightfold Path. So he came to Sri Lanka and went and searched this ground. He got it, and 64 to 67 he was producing full time and giving the full attention. A lot of monks came to know, and one monk, and he has the one office in Colombo, German Dhammajiva, and when he is the operating place, and from there he is operating German Dhammajiva in Berlin, as well as Nissarana. One very elderly monk, learned monk, has come and asked for an interview. He is very busy, ultimately being a monk he has given. So monk has taken the seat and he has sit down and asked, but what is the purpose of coming and what you have to say? He has told after the glossing over all the kind of things, he says that I know you are very genuine and invested so much of money and kind of thing. What I am going to say is, nowadays it is impossible to become arahant. You must have all the paramis filled. You must have all the 3 hetuka patisandhi qualities in you. Therefore, may be that your all investment is utter waste. So that is why out of compassion I am telling you, be aware of these things, that is, everything is not according to the surface value. There's an underneath sort of knowledge you have to have. That is why you are so interested in investing on such a, in this very life kind of a concept. So he says, of course, I have not been aware of that. So therefore, Bhante, do you have any kind of method to measure whether someone has paramis fulfilled or not? Any gadget or any measure or any formula, any kind of thing? He says no. Then he says, if he is fulfilled only 50% or 30%, 20%, can you tell by looking at someone that is you are 30, you are 10, you are not qualified like? He says, I have no. Then he asks, can you please tell me whether I have? Okay, do you know whether you have how much? No. Then he has asked that second criterion you told was that 3 hetuka patisandhi. Can you tell me whether I am 3 hetuka or not? He says, I have no such a criteria. Are you 3 hetuka patisandhi? I don't know. Then he says, just mere destructive criticism. Am I listen to you kind of people? What is the constructive part in your whole coming to me and out of the compassion, everything? Only thing what I can suggest you. Get down. I will sit in the chair. Pay respect 3 times to me. That is the only suitable for you. Mind your own business. I am running in the 33,000 feet high. You are talking about the road traffic. Don't talk to me. I have made up your mind. Even it's utter failure, I am doing with the genuine idea. So he was reverberating this while we are in the Nissarana. He says, lot of people finding difficulties and negatives not to do. And these are the people making the constitutions. We are the people making syllabuses. These are the people taking the upper hand in the radios, newspapers, everything. So therefore, where we are going? Never mind. But even when someone is going systematically, they come and knock me. Don't do it because it is none of each and everyone's business. But if there is no parami, what to do? You have to do start. It can accumulate. Before accumulate, what to do? Meditate. So therefore, these are maybe theoretically sound things. But what practicality we have? How much we have feel? Do we know? Who the hell can tell? Where are the measurement to say? So therefore, these things, for me, I consider as the destructive criticisms. Because when I was starting meditation, I have broken all the 5 precepts. And I was in a hobby in breaking precepts. That was my hobby. We have the 10 in our university. We are culprits. But even then, when I started with the mindfulness, of course, it took about 10 years for me to understand it. But even then, it is worthwhile. So at that time, if someone to say, look at me and say, I never go to the temple, I am a kleptomaniac. Any place, any security is given, it is a challenge for me, I will lift something. I have lifted books from the British Council libraries, American libraries. Everywhere, if the security is there, I will take a challenge. And being so, I am not promoting it, I am telling you, the way it started, that time, no one will predict me that I will take up this meditation or take these precepts, nothing. But you see, this kind of miracles can take place. That is why the Buddha is at the epithet, Purusha Dhamma Sarati. He said that he can tame the people from a distance and he can be completely new. That present day words, it says, train your mind and change your brain. You know that the last conference, the end result is that you can change your brain. It is not a hardwired thing. But you must be ready. If you are going to say that I have no paramis fulfilled, I have no Triyotyaka Patisandhi, you never even try. So therefore such a thing, I say as destructive criticism, that's the way I have been taught, that's the way I am using. So therefore, what are the required paramis to become an arahant? In this life, I will say, if you are a human, you are fully qualified. Make sure you are a human, not a beast. Could you please explain wrong mindfulness? I can understand this Samma Sati, Miccha Sati. Miccha Sati is explained as this when a cat is behind a rat. It is in such a present moment. Be here and now. And so really crafty. But it is for the prey. And there ultimately is going there. It is never leading to kind of enlightenment, but rather to the bad side. So these are the examples given, and there also you can see how aligned is, how skillful is not to make any noise, and the rat also very sensitive animal, and the cat how is go closer. And yet another one is when the hunter dazzle the animal in the night with the torch, and he understands this one is animal, but he never shoots. He wants to know whether it's a male or female or pregnant or kind of thing. So he has to go closer. When he's creeping without breaking the twigs, and he knows the art, carrying the gun without shaking the head, keeping the tag and closing. And that is also being known as kind of a mindfulness. It's a kind of a thing inbuilt, and ultimately it's not leading to the Nibbana. So therefore, in a sense you can say, whether you practice or not, our each and every thought moment mindfulness is there. But we don't give the priority. Therefore, we, instead of the mindfulness, we give the priority for the faith, or energy, or concentration, or wisdom. So much so, they come and take the upper hand, they become prominent, but predictability is no more. The moment you give the mindfulness the priority, then everything comes under control. So our commentary and the Abhidhamma never accept mindfulness as it says mindfulness is always beautiful. But when Jnanananda in the Nibbana Desana he mentioned Samidhi Sutta and Kimmulaka Sutta. Both of them, it says, each and every moment you have the mindfulness. Only thing is you are not giving the proper place. You are not giving the priority. And that has been highly highlighted by Jnanaponika in this book, Power of Mindfulness. In the introduction, he says, I have one copy. I would have bought it now. So please read it. I am not highly recommending reading books, but anyway, that book was helpful for me to become a monk. It's short and sweet to the subject. It says the moment you understand the mindfulness and keep it the priority, all the other responsibility will be taken by the mindfulness, and the life will be frictionless day by day. All the other necessary qualities will be gathered. So therefore, there are mindfulness using for these other five senses. These try to introduce as wrong mindfulness, miccha sati. That means that our mind is always having this, whether you are using for the good purpose or bad purpose, or that enlightenment or self-indulgence, that decides its correct and wrong form. Are the three main asava-based: desire, ignorance, and wanting to exist, become. Three asavas are known: kama asava, bhava asava, avijja asava. Can you give a brief explanation of each of them, please? Kama asava is almost like kama tanha. Kama means that's the sensuous, related to the five senses. So asava, that means kind of influxes and influences are there to get our attention more to the sense pleasure. That means sense-based, tangible, materialistic pleasure. But beyond that, even if you get rid of that, we are not fully liberated. We have some bhavasava, that desire for the existence, the future, and the becoming. And so it says that as an individual human, we are quite afraid of maintaining the tradition, maintaining the trend. Therefore, we always tend to make societies, either as a family or as a society, and then you will claim, even if I am not here, my policies and principles will be continued by the societies. And therefore you, in a bhavasava way, you appreciate the societies and sacrifice for the societies, but even then you are talking about the existence. And it says that when you take a beehive, individual bee, male and female, have no full-fledged life. Male bee is only copulation, is the only single job it has, and then everyone will be killed off. And the female one is taking care of the whole cleanliness, feeding the youngsters, and finding the everything, morning to evening, as far as the sunlight is there, working. And the queen is throughout laying the eggs, day and night, and so on. So individual has no full self. But when the beehives come, whole thing has appear like a self. Likewise, whenever we find that existence is challenged by individual, we tend to form societies. And then we feel secure as far as the society is going to take care about that. And the family also is something like that we have created surrounding ourselves, and our family should maintain the family tradition and our caste and all the kind of things, some or the other. It is not related to the sense desire, but yet another kind of a fulfillment we expect. It is in this asava, ever in influx, influencing. You be happy and entertaining is not enough. Think about the future, think about the next generation, think about the maintenance of for the next life, and all the kind of thing called bhavasava. Avijjasava is that you have a blind eye to the truth. You see only the glittering part. You understand, and your tendency is to see only the good side. But there is no assurance the truth is always living in the glittering part. Truth may be in the dark side. the Buddha says that usually any person living is always confronting with the array of choice, different combinations. So you have to choose one thing among the sounds, among taste, among the anything, or in between the sound and taste. That selection happened with 5 criterion. In the Chanki Sutta, the Buddha says, the faith is one thing, and your liking and disliking is one thing. What you heard as good is one thing. Argumentally winning part is one thing, and your view is one thing. These are the 5 things. Whenever the varietal entertainment happen, you select out of these 5. In the debate, in the discussion only it come. In the Buddha says, when you are bounded with the faith, you will select only what is good for faithful. Whatever not coming with your faith, you consider heretic and throw away. But the Buddha says, there's 2 loopholes. Whatever you select may not be carrying the truth. Whatever you have thrown away telling heretics may carry the truth. No one can challenge that. And if you take this liking and disliking, when the things are given, you select by your own liking, your personality. But there is no assurance what you selected due to your liking is always carrying the truth. And there may be, but you rejected telling it is I don't like, that may the truth is there. And the other one is hearsay, what the teacher says, what the Tripitaka says, what the Bible says, what the Quran says, and we say this is the one we accept, balance is we consider as heretic and use to throw away. But even then if your teacher says, that may not be carrying the truth. Even if you reject telling this is not what my teacher says, that may be the truth. And argumentally you can fight and say this is the winning part. But any debater knows what is winning is not the truth. What you rejected as not winning may carry the truth. And the last one is the view. When you fall into the cleavage that I have this view and that view, only that one is you are going to reconsider everything. But what is not come with your view, you just reject. But the Buddha says that what you rejected may have the truth. So therefore avijja asava has 2 facets. Simple unknowing and misperception. The simple unknowing we can replace by teaching. But the misperception is very difficult. That is why the half-learned, the trainer for the solo has to pay double. We all have the half knowledge, full of half knowledge. So whatever we know, we take it as highlighting, this is what no. That is completely covering the unknown. So we consider unknown as a black box. We have no consideration for that. So therefore avijja is ever flourishing. Whatever the knowledge you have, never mind. But you have to understand so much of a negativity to the unknown, that is misperception. You think you know. Then even the Buddha can't help you. So there you have to surrender that you have a huge area, do not know. If you accept it, then the second person can help you. Otherwise you will become bald-headed, arrogant. No one can help. So therefore that flux is ever coming when and where we face the new moment, the thought moments. Every time unknown, some facts we don't know. That is also disturbing us. And our misperception, thinking that we know, is covering from the truth. So therefore there are also fluxes are coming, or taints are coming. And they influence us to put into the same cleavage. So therefore this asava, working in this karma asava, bhava asava, and kama asava, bhava asava, and avijja asava. So that is why, if you are, even though you are meditating, if you do not have this kind of a broad picture, at least at the theoretical knowledge, meditation itself can't lead. You have to have theoretical knowledge. And not only theoretical knowledge, you have to have a rationalization or deductivity, a deductive ability according to your experience in this human life, what this talking is, it's palatable, rational or not. You can't do, no one can do for you. You have to do. Then only the zest comes. The faith become a resolute faith to practice and do, try and see. Without that won't happen. While practicing, while doing also, you have to listen, you have to talk, you have to, talking means not gossiping. Talk and discussion. And sometimes to refer back to the books and kind of thing, all the time it has to be refined. Otherwise that it will be in the same vortex, same caught up in the same rut. So always assuming the humbly that I do not know is a very good opening. You will never be arrogant. You will be ever humble and let the other person to express their views. But that does not admit that you are going to take everything. You have to take the selective absorption. Okay, exactly 6 o'clock. So this is the last discussion. And then that may mark in the end of the retreat. And 7 o'clock we will be meeting here for a Sinhalese talk.
So it's the end of the retreat, but we have a discuss for the 100.
Whenever we see this color, the hatred comes. So therefore, Venerable Dhammika asked me to be mindful whenever you see yellow. So definitely we will ask that the question, how is then you became a monk?
Especially
Yeah. Yeah. So therefore earlier, because you have to go to the university and see the monks there. We feel sorry. The way they behave and I mean they are youngsters and they have their own feelings, but they have to behave under this frame. So they do double Miguel Daniel game. That means morning one role and the evening one role. So when we young people, we know it. So being that understanding Dhamma and the way they look is awful. Very difficult to compassionate and sympathize when the monks are doing. So then when Dhammika asked me to be mindful when and where the yellow color. Even you see a sari, never mind. Whenever the yellow happens, it's a sign for you to be mindful, because otherwise naturally the hatred comes. So I don't know whether you'll appreciate, because you people won't hate monks like me. You have a very good idea about the monks. In my young life, it's ever critical, ever making jokes out of it. So it is also yet. And the other one is as the Buddha mentioned, when you are doing the first and the second job in the toilets. Uchchara passava kampe sampajanakari hoti. That is in the Satipatthana Sutta. This also I have a special kind of a joke. So when I go to the Brisbane, there was not at the Sri Lanka Rama, there was yet another one with Dhammajiva, German Dhammajiva. And there was a telephone discussion. It's like a radio, limited people group set together. And that day I have been asked to give a sermon. I took the Malunke Putta Sutta. It's a very serious sutta. Halfway I came to know it is not the vibration over there, but anyway I adhere to the sutta and discussion is going on. And there was a very learned person sitting in front of me, and he all of a sudden told, Bhante, that you are talking about the high Dhamma, but that is not the case that I am going to draw your attention. But in Sri Lanka you see how many Buddhists are being convinced to the Catholics. And under such circumstances, what is your answer? What are you going to do? Then I told, I am not concerned such a thing, because if he wished to go to the Buddhism, to the Visan, I mean, he or she can make a decision, never mind. And if someone going to come to the Buddhism, equally. I have no. Then he told, a person like you, representing the culture, maintaining for 2,500 and being so slack on such a thing, I can't appreciate. Because you are the real role model in the Sri Lanka to safeguard the lay people and everything. So you must have a clear idea about this kind of thing. Then I am sorry, I have no such a clear idea. Things are happening in such a way. So I am not worried, I am not tense on that. Even if you are going to talk about, I don't care. But I worry about my mindfulness. And even without even becoming Buddhist and unmindful, what is the use? Majority are Buddhists, but they don't know mindfulness. And whether they are following the Christianity, I don't care. Then he withdrew back. And after a while, the now discussion is going on. Then all of a sudden he says, does it mean that you don't appreciate Buddha Puja? Offering Buddha Puja? All of a sudden he asked the question, does it mean that? Then I told, single word is the good. Kanda kiliyata gihilla malak puja karat, වැස් kiliyata gihilla mala paha karat, එකම පින සතියෙන් කරනවා. Hard to translate. It is a pun. Punning of the words. The mala has two meanings. One thing is the flower. The other one is dead. So when you get the flowers, we go to the offer to the Buddha, go to the shrine room. And there everyone will accept it is religious, it is spiritual, and you have to be mindful. But defecating also, we say, the removal of the mala, removal of the dead things. And we do it in the toilet. The Buddha says, while you are defecating in the toilet, still if you are mindful, you get the same merits like offering a flower to the Buddha in the shrine room. That person was bursting. And I can understand his face. So now the heated like I'm going, that the organizer's wife, sitting in the side corner, she told, isn't that the Bhante Buddha says, Uchchara Vassava Kamme Sampajanakari Hoti? And she gave the quotation from the Buddha. The Buddha says you have to be mindful when you are defecating and urinating. So then I told, this is not a fabrication of me, this is just what the Buddha says. So therefore when you go to the toilet, and it is the kind of a catharsis. I mean, you are getting rid of it. And huge insights are coming. In the Western countries, they usually hang a blank paper and a pencil in the toilet. Because very bright ideas comes. And Venerable, the Narada, Venerable Narada is a very famous character in the Vajrarama. It's a secret is there. He sent the constipation. When you go to the toilet, he has to sit 4 hours. So what he do is he has the makeshift table in front of the commode, and he let that part happen, he is writing. That is how all the bright ideas came. I mean, he is exploring that into the bright ideas, but I am telling you, when you do it, and it's a completely privacy.
He came up with this idea.
Yeah. And my teacher, maths teacher, is a Catholic. And early morning he get 2 shots, and then only come and teach us. I hit it like anything. I am little bright in the maths, therefore I have to sit in the front line. All do not know maths, they have to go behind. And hitting like anything. Sometimes we are crying as young boys and kind of thing. So he used to say, I don't care about this kind of whole liberations and emancipation kind of thing. I know only 2 liberations in this world you can experience. What is that? Whenever you have a tightness of the urination, if you have a nice place, that is a liberation. And if you have a tightness for the bog tight, and if you have a toilet, and that is a liberation. That no one can deny. And of course it is the case if you are in a traveling or kind of thing. If you do not have a proper place, what a kind of agony. And seeing a toilet is more than a shrine room. And you go and you liberate. Why don't you use this as a place to be mindful? You accept all?
No, I have never been teach about this. I have heard of it, but I have never found someone about it. Then in terms of when you go back, like meditation, that you have any recommendations that have to do every day?
Yes, definitely. Satachakari, Sakkachakari, Sappayakari. Satachakari means the regular application. The best is you can allocate from morning 6 to 7 meditation, like you tag it. And Sakkachakari means do all the tasks in order to preserve that out. Sappayakari, don't associate bad friends, don't eat bad foods, and do suitable things in order to facilitate this one. But I know it is very difficult to allocate 1 hour sort of thing in this busy life. But whatever may be regular application is, you get a kind of a bondage, commitment, and that is good. But even then, even if you have allocated time, but I am dead sure you give priority for the sitting meditation. That I question. I give the priority for walking meditation. Then onward, your meditative life will be changing from sour to sweet. Sitting is sour in taste. Walking is always sweet. After walking, you feel like sitting, and that time there is a time constellation. So many people come to the Nissarana, all are, when they are coming to the Nissarana, they are well known about the meditation. That is why they come to the Nissarana. They are never the beginners come to the Nissarana. When they come, what I tell them is, Nissarana is the best place and the first place teaching about the walking meditation. So therefore give the priority. Because in the Nissarana is a very humid climate, very high thick canopy. So therefore if you are not meditating walking, you get kind of a mentality very difficult to cope up with. No digestion, no sleeping can happen. 1 or 2 weeks, no problem. But for long run, you have to have kind of a sweating, warming up, and for that walking meditation. So majority those who are thanking Nissarana thanks us because we are introducing walking meditation. And then they find easy to cope up with the youngsters, cope up with the busy lives, cope up with the elderly people. Elderly people also find difficult to sit. But instead walking meditation, and after walking it is natural for you to feel like go and sit. Then no problem. So therefore walking is the secret. But usually you people think it's a wastage of time. Yeah. No. I don't do any kind of conditioning of your mind. Don't impose anything. Just walk with your normal speed.
So you can meditate while you are walking without work?
So one day that I was telling like that when I come to the court, a lot of working people came and I told that in Sri Lanka we are using the buses for transport. So why don't you get down one whole bus halting for a place short and walk the distance? So next day President called me, he's running a press. He told that one of your best disciples came one day today morning completely with the pouring rain, wet. And he has asked that why. He told that Dhammajiva yesterday told, get down one short of basalt and walk. So then he says, how very nice, and you are a real work to rule kind of. Then he has asked, why don't you bring an umbrella? He says, when he told to keep both the arms balanced. So I avoided the umbrella also. So he says, when he comes to the office, his whole office is wet. But person is very happy, he is telling that I am doing walking meditation. So, so that the walking, getting down, and here the good thing is, your parking lot is fairly low to the place. So many people cursed it. I think it's a well meditated idea. You have to go a little before and find a parking lot and walk the balanced distance. And so these are the ways and means to find this established walking meditation or mindfulness.
Maybe I misunderstood. Unshanti is unshanti. So I was going maybe to change the thinking pattern that was facing. So if I go deeper to the Anand stage and trying to do so key factors is working out. Certain factors to value change to this. What does it mean?
No, translation is wrong. Translation is wrong. I must restrain my mind while short breath is happening. I must restrain mind to see the long breath is happening. That does not mean intentional shortness and longness. Whether it is short or long, you must be indifferent and your mindfulness must be there. And sometimes the gladness happens. Even you must train just to see the gladness, but don't get elated. And whenever the painful happens, don't get depressed. Keep the mindfulness there. Likewise, whatever the thing happen, you must aiming towards the equanimity. So each and everything is not something doing, but these things are happening as an episode as the mind progress. So some of them have been depicted in the sutta, but many things are happening. This is like a standard map. But many other things which has not been mentioned are there. Whatever it may be, you have to get the meaning idea. Your main attention must be when and where possible with the mindfulness, with the breath or the primary object. While it is happening, the manners and the shapes of the breath is changing. Mental coloration like liking and disliking, happiness, gladness, and all the things are happening. Whatever may be, they are not permanent, they are just passing clouds. You still keep the attention with the primary object. The clear or proper cessation of the arising and passing away of this materiality mentality is the first Magga Jnana. That cessation you see without any fear. Accepting this unknown. Accepting the liberation without any hesitation. If you can maintain it, that is the highest breadth. For that only you are bringing from gross to the subtle, known to the unknown, day by day. And the moment you go through, see through, with full awareness, that will indicate the first Magga Jnana.
So that one necessity to see whether it is wrong, right or not.
No, you see the discrimination. You see this is long, this is short, but it is not your manifestation. It is something happening. When the breathing is happening, sometimes the gladness arises, sometimes the liking and disliking happen. This is none of your business. This is not you, this is not yours, this is not your soul. You are the mere observer, distance observation. That is what the mindfulness assumes.
You have trained yourself to observe.
Observation.
That's what we should do.
No, the training means whenever each and every moment we have a choice. We can see, we can hear, we can smell, we can taste, we can touch, and we can think. Out of that, to keep the attention only with the body, the bodily tactile sensation, is a kind of a maneuverance, kind of a focusing, kind of a adverting. So that you have to take care at the beginning. Putting the searchlight, not the searchlight, spotlight. Only wherever the breath goes, you focus the spotlight. So that you are highlighting the breath. So many other actors are there, but you are spotlighting or spotting the breath. So that needs, because our mind is the unruly. Our mind is not disciplined, unless otherwise we give such a control, such a restrainment. It says that Sabba Kaya Patisangvedi Asasi Samiti Shikkati. Sabbakaya patisangvedi pasati samiti sikkati. So you can interpret it in two ways. At the beginning you feel the gross touch in breath and out breath here. When the mindfulness comes and breath become predictable, mindful predictable, you feel this whole area become benumbed like and needles are running and mosquitoes are, that flies are going there, and you feel this area just like a injection given for a uproot of the tooth, the benumbing. And ultimately you feel while the attention is there, the whole body, some places also becoming tingling and the needles and all the kind of thing. And if you see, whenever the breath happens, the kind of a vibration happens in the body based upon this diaphragm. Ultimately that vibration goes to each and every cell, each and every organ. We don't care, we don't know, because our attention is other directed. Whenever the mind becomes sharp, mindfulness and the concentration, if you keep the attention, you see each breath is exercising, massaging the whole, each and every cell. So that also you feel the whole breath body. At the beginning you feel the breath in the upper part of the body or in the nostril. But being still, the attention is here, but you can feel. Or otherwise you can say the breath is, the air movement itself is concerned, so at least concerned about the whole upper part. But if you are focusing on the one particular point, that rubbing happens, but the whole combination, it's a harmonized action. So it is said that when you are focusing a torch flash into the wall, you see in the center you have a very bright spot, and right round you have a very big light. It's called umbra and penumbra, chaya, avachaya. So what you focus is the spotlight, the yellow, the one in center. But other right round has a big area get enlightened. At the beginning your focus is in the center, but once you become familiarized with that, you see out of the wall there's yet another big cycle that is also light, but not like the center, but not dark like outside. So that also come into being, come into view it. No. So the Burmese master, he says, in our houses we have group photos, and our uncle is in the second row, third person. So when we are looking at the photos, we are always looking at the uncle. But you can't find, you are seeing the whole photo, but the focus is, that is why it is hanging in your wall, because your uncle is there. But everything is in the photo. So ultimately, when you are looking at more and more, you can see they are sitting in behind front of a house or in front of a lake, or everything come into being. But that is none of your business. You are looking at your uncle. But ultimately, with familiarity, everything come into being. So likewise, that once the small spot is mastered, it's naturally spreading. It is called ink drop system. When you keep a fountain pen on a blotting paper, drops start and slowly increase. It's a nature of the mind. Only you have to do is apply the mind to the same point again and again. Ultimately, it knows how to spread. This first touch is called direct touch, vipassana jnana. The spreading is called deductive knowledge or chintame jnana. You can't avoid it. Both of them are insights. But don't put the chintame jnana first and get rid of the ill-treat direct knowledge. That is called putting the cart before the horse. That often happens for the scholars. They keep on thinking and ultimately end up with a repercussion. So again one has to come and put the cart before the horse before the cart, then again the trip. But soon, without knowing, going to interpret, going to contemplate, going to deductive knowledge. Then again, cart goes before. The horse has no reverse gear. Horse no only forward gear. So therefore these things are, but Mahasi Sayadaw categorically recognize both of them are inside, but always keep the direct touch forward. That means look at the spot, look at the uncle. More and more you see there, by the time you will see the whole photo. That is like the whole breath body come into being.
Well, I'm thinking to arrange a talk or something on Wednesday. So
Wednesday, yeah. 7 to 9, 7 to